Coming up, we'll be on location at Behavioral Health Hypnotherapy LLC in Rockville, Maryland, discussing the benefits of hypnotherapy and how it can effectively help with smoking cessation, weight loss, ADHD, trauma, and more with one of this region's top hypnotherapists, Paige Sacher. Welcome, Paige. It's a pleasure having you on our program with us today.
Thank you, Rocco. I am very happy to be here today.
It's your first time, in fact, on with us. We have a lot to talk about, and I wanted to begin right off the bat, if I may, Paige, by having you tell us about how you and your practice, Behavioral Health Hypnotherapy LLC here in the Rockville, Maryland region, are certainly establishing a reputation for excellence in hypnotherapy as well as in client care, I might add. And I wanted to have you please begin by telling us the vision behind your practice.
Okay, thank you very much. I would say when I first started my practice, my vision was just to help as many people as I could. And that was primarily because I discovered and started using self-hypnosis on myself to deal with some issues that I might have had coming up. And I found it so beneficial that it inspired me to go to school to become a certified hypnotherapist.
That's very interesting. So you saw the benefits from it.
I received the benefits,
with issues
yes,
that you were having
correct,
at that time.
Correct.
So you went on and became a certified hypnotherapist,
right,
as you just mentioned. And that is a very interesting vision as far as the premise behind the vision.
My company was basically born in the pandemic. That's when I started going to school the year before 2020. So when the pandemic hit, I really had no idea if my company was going to sink or swim. I didn't know what to expect. I really just was hanging on to see what was going to happen with the rest of the world. My vision today is a little more streamlined. There's 4 areas that I'm really interested in getting into. The first one is called Hypnopause. It's a certification program for women going through menopause, which I think is a big market that is untapped. I would also really like to get into the mental health fields, helping people that are dealing with cancer as well as pain management. So I don't want to exclude anybody. I'm open to everyone as long as it's within my scope of practice. All are welcome.
And I wanted to ask you, Paige, for folks out there watching who may not know, what is hypnotherapy and how is it performed?
So hypnotherapy is a focused state of awareness where the body is completely relaxed and the mind is very alert. This state allows the hypnotherapist to access the subconscious mind and start giving positive hypnotic suggestions to start changing the behavior and maybe the beliefs that this person has deep inside the subconscious mind.
Very interesting.
So basically we want to overload the conscious mind and distract it and ask it to step aside during the session so that we can start accessing the subconscious where all the programming is. So speaking of the subconscious mind, that actually makes up 88% of the human mind, and the conscious mind is only 12%. So the subconscious holds, like I said, holds all the programming, all our knowns, everything, all negative, all positive, everything that we've gone through since we were born, basically, is held in the subconscious mind. Subconscious doesn't know the difference between fact and fantasy, so you can feed it, basically, new information, new beliefs, new behaviors. Hypnotherapy will help you accomplish goals of overcoming challenges and obstacles. If you change the programming of the subconscious mind, the new behavior will follow.
And that is why we want to have you on today, because hypnotherapy has been around a long, long time. It's proven to be highly effective in helping folks dealing with a wide array of issues. So I really appreciate you explaining that in some detail as to how it really effectively programs or reprograms our mind, our subconscious, which in turn affects our conscious.
When I first get a new client, We have a in-depth consultation over the phone, which lasts 30 to 45 minutes. This helps me determine what their current challenges are, what their blocks might be if they know that, and what their goals are, what they want to accomplish with the hypnotherapy sessions.
So you do the thorough evaluation initially.
They talk and talk and talk.
All right. And then as far as the sessions themselves go, how does that work for those watching?
Once we're in the session, I give them a very detailed description of what to expect, what hypnosis feels like, what it looks like, what the experience is going to be, and how hypnosis works on their mind for their particular issue.
Speaking of issues that folks have, I wanted to ask you as my next question, if you could be kind enough to tell us in some detail what are some of the more common issues and other issues for that matter that hypnotherapy is able to help folks with.
Okay. I would say the question is more, what can't hypnosis help with? For instance, some of the more traditional is weight loss and smoking cessation. But what's come to the front lines now is more of ADHD, pain management, managing chronic illness, stress and anxiety. Anxiety is a huge one. Sleep disorders, insomnia, and test anxiety. But there are so many other problems, issues, concerns that hypnosis can help with. It really is limitless.
And I wanted to ask you as well, who is a good candidate that can benefit from hypnotherapy?
The best candidates are people who are highly motivated. For instance, smoking. If you really don't want to quit, you're not going to have success. If you are quitting for somebody else, you're not going to have success. You have to have the motivation yourself and the determination and the belief. You have to be open-minded that I am going to get help. Some people come to hypnosis because it's their last ditch effort. They've gone all through Western medicine. They are not coming up with answers. They've tried medication. Some people just don't want to be on medication and they want to try something new. So it's basically 90% of the population can be hypnotized.
Yes, indeed.
So pretty much everybody is a good candidate.
Now, I know you touched on this briefly a little earlier in our interview today, Paige, but I just wanted you to take a little bit more time, if you will, and go into a little bit more of what that initial evaluation encompasses as far as helping you customize the appropriate plan to best help each of your clients, because we may have a lot of the same issues, right, as people in society, but we're all different, we're all unique. And I'm sure you tailor and customize the appropriate hypnotherapy plan to best help each of your clients achieve their goals and help them overcome the challenges and obstacles and issues that they've been dealing with.
As I mentioned earlier, there's an in-depth consultation, but once we get together as at our first session, we go a little bit further into the goals and we go a little bit further into their story, so to speak. And this helps me determine a treatment plan for the future. Not everybody wants that. Some people have one session and they are good to go. Some people need 2, 3, 4. Some people come forever.
Yes.
They love it just because they feel good.
Yes.
So coming up with the treatment plan comes with the consultation as well as within the session.
And you touched on a great point a few minutes ago, and that is that ultimately who can benefit from you and other hypnotherapists out there are folks that have to be really motivated. That's the key word you mentioned earlier. You have to want to do it for yourself.
Exactly.
You can certainly do it for a loved one and for others, but that may not have long-lasting or forever-lasting results,
That's
right?
Right.
Ultimately, you really have to want to take that next step, to quit smoking or actually lose the weight or any other issue or
If you want to exercise but you can't seem to get up every morning, we're going to work on that motivation.
How long do the sessions typically take, Paige?
Okay, the first session is always the longest session. That can be anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours, because I am, like I said, I'm giving them that detailed description of how their issue is going to be addressed with the hypnosis. So we do that. I also do a PowerPoint demonstration of how, it's called the theory of mind, and it shows in cartoon form almost of how it's going to actually work on them. And then after that, subsequent sessions, if there's some homework to go over that they might have been given at their previous session, or if there's some cognitive time that we need to talk and reevaluate things that went on in the last session or things that came up during the time in between, then it'll last anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the number of sessions, again, I would imagine, are determined by each particular client.
Yeah.
And the appropriate customized treatment plan to
Correct.
help them after you do go through your thorough initial evaluation.
And that can change too, because sometimes in hypnosis, new issues come up that they didn't even know about.
Yes.
And that can create more time together.
Yes, absolutely. What kind of results can be expected from the hypnotherapy sessions and treatments?
All right. Recent studies have said that the positive effects of hypnotherapy is a 93% success rate.
My goodness.
And that's from studies from the American Medical Association as well as the British Medical Association. Results are never guaranteed, cannot make that promise, but it's a collaborative process. You give 100%, I give 100%. Together we can make the best of the session and make the best of helping them with their issue.
Now, I know you touched on this briefly a bit earlier, but I did want to ask you if you could go into a little more detail here as well, and that is, when do your clients start seeing results? And again, I'm sure that depends on each particular client, but if you could please go into that a little bit more.
As I mentioned earlier, some people come in, they have one session, switch is flipped, and all of a sudden they don't need any more. You never see them again, you never hear from them again. For instance, my sleeping disorders insomnia program is 3 sessions.
Okay.
But sometimes they come back a month later because they're having insomnia again, or a new issue has come to play and they want to address it again, or they just need a reboot, so to speak.
Now, we're literally out of time, Paige, but I wanted to ask you, before we let you go here today, if there are any additional or final thoughts that you'd like to share with our viewers.
I would like to say that hypnosis is for everybody and anybody. It's become very accepted in the medical field. If you have any obstacles, challenges, or issues, I would be very happy to talk to you and see if there's anything I can do for you.
Well, on that note, we'd like to thank you, Paige, for joining us, educating us on the benefits of hypnotherapy and all that it entails, and to all the folks out there that can certainly benefit from it and get the help they need from it. And it was a pleasure having you on. In fact, we'd love to have you back on in the future.
I would love to do that.
All right.
Thank you, Rocco. It was a pleasure.